I promised everybody before we hopped on here, and I know we're coming up on our time here. I promised everyone that I would give them my initial starting point for any product. And this is kind of generic, and there's some nuance to this, but this is kind of the core structure that I will generally start with, and I'll kind of explain it. So if let's say I have one product, I'm going to first set up an auto campaign. Maybe not like first, but it really depends on where you are. I hate saying that because I may not set up an auto campaign if we don't have like really limited budgets or something like that. But generally speaking, I want an auto campaign running all the time. So that way I'm constantly showing up on new searches, those billions of new searches that are happening on Amazon every single day. I'm actually able to capture those because that auto campaign is constantly finding new searches and queries for me to show up on. So that's super important. Number two, I'll launch a manual research campaign. So these are going to represent my, let's just keep it in one tactic. Let's say non-brand. These are my non-brand keywords. These are going to be leveraging either broad or phrase match. So I personally like to segment out my match types to where I can see and see how much of my spend is going to each of these different match types. So that way, in certain scenarios, I can pull different levers. So let's say I'm in more of a research phase for this product. I don't necessarily know everything that converts really well for this product. I haven't identified a lot of my top terms and core keywords or things like that. And I'm trying to find more. Maybe I'm pushing more budget to my broad and my phrase campaigns to help identify and harvest into my exact. So there's different phases that you could be in where you may need to push broad or push phrase a little bit more to expand your reach, expand visibility, and ultimately find more keywords and more targets to convert on. So there's times where you need to allocate budget specifically towards those broader match types. And so I like to have those broken out. It makes it nice and clean and clear, and gives me those levers that I can pull to support different times of year, different phases of a business. And so after that, I'll have my manual performance campaign. And so this is going to be my non-brand exact match targets. So these are going to be keywords that are tried and true. These are my go-to terms, the ones that drive conversion, that drive sales, that I know work for my product and are highly relevant. These are geared and they're set up to have precise control over that specific keyword to product relationship, so I can bid accordingly. And I know that those ads aren't going to be showing up on a bunch of variations of the keyword like they would on a broad or a phrase match. Like if you increase the bid on a broader phrase match, you're now opening yourself up to a much wider array of search queries that you weren't necessarily competing for before. If you're just using exact, you know what you're bidding on for which product. And so I'll have that segmented out. And then from there, we have kind of the same thing, but with product targeting. So product targeting within sponsored products now has expanded product targeting, and they have exact match product targeting. So within expanded product targeting, this is relatively new. This is more like your broad match for product targeting. And so I'll have that set up in one campaign, and then I'll have a performance version of my product targeting campaign. And so I have that structure to where at any point I can allocate dollars to more research efforts versus more driving performance efforts. I can balance the budgets across those different goals and those different tactics. But that structure right there, one auto campaign, two manual keyword campaigns, one broad, one exact, and then two product targeting campaigns, expanded, and one exact product targeting campaign. That's kind of like my core starting point. Okay, so that's like where I start. Now, depending on the complexity that we need to get into, from there, I can branch off and do a whole bunch of other things. Within my performance, I may break out those campaigns into multiple different campaigns that contain specific keywords based on search volume or something like that. Or maybe I know that these are my top 5 core keywords that are driving like 99% of my sales and my results. So maybe I want to break those out into their own single keyword performance exact match campaigns and operate on their own. But at its essence, at its core, it's what I just shared, those 5 campaigns. And then from there, I can branch it out and get more segmented as I need to. But then I still also have that algorithmic benefit, that more aggregated, broader view, where I'm doing more research and showing up on longer tail, winning some of those one-off sales and things like that. So that's my personal, I call it the campaign stack. It's what I start with. And there's a lot more to it than just that too, especially when you get into sponsored brands and sponsor display and all that type of stuff, brand targeting, all that. There's a whole multitude of campaigns that you could set up for any one individual ASIN. You could have a really robust structure, really robust campaign build out for any one product. And but yeah, that's kind of the essence, the core of where I start, and then from there I can branch it out.
Well, that's great, Andrew. So really, all our discussion is really best to title, so to speak, is for structuring sponsored product campaigns, right? So
Yes, sir.
We have to bring you back to cover the others because
Yeah.
it's a whole